Welcome back to the shop, folks. Figured we'd spend some time today and talk about the goings on around here. Lots of different buildings and structures happening. So let's take a tour. Here we are mid-construction on a 10 by 16 Algonquin. This one's got a couple of smaller windows, one big one over here, and a smaller one over there for the cross breeze. But it's always nice to see a mid-construction build. The guys are actually off-site today doing a roof elsewhere, but we're getting there on this one. One thing I'd like to mention, so we do have three sizes of these doors, 32, 34, and 36 inches. They do fit incredibly well, and these windows all open 50%. So one of the things we get asked for regularly is an outhouse. This one happens to be insulated with the interior finish just like you'd see the rest of our buildings. This is either gonna get a composting toilet or incinerating toilet. We can also do regular outhouses without that insulation. So here's a finished 5x5 outhouse with a steel door on it. This one is actually going to be utilizing the sawdust method. Toilet seat's missing off of this, but a couple of buckets, a little bit of sawdust, and then you got yourself your own fertilizer after about a year. We do often get asked for buildings with porches. These are the same building essentially, except this one's 10 by 16 on the inside, whereas this one's 10 by 12. This 10 by 12 is going to be moving tomorrow, so we'll have a video about that happening. But as you can see in here, basically the buildings are all infinitely configurable. So this one happens to be 10 by 12. It's gonna end up as duty as a backyard bar. But we can build buildings in any dimension from 8 by 8 all the way up to 12 by 30. We have multiple different window sizes, and this building has them all. There's our standard 24 by 36. We also have a 36 by 48 horizontal slide and a 48 by 48 horizontal slide. We did just get asked by a customer specifically to build a 36 by 36 square horizontal slide, and we can do that too. You can add a dormer onto the front of your building if you want to keep the drips off your head. Plus they look great. This building happens to be a standard model. So when you buy a standard building from us, they end up looking like this. So we always wrap the interior of our buildings in house wrap on the inside of the framing here. This one's got a couple of 36 by 48 windows with the door in the center and a couple of 24 by 36 windows on the back. My understanding is this building is going to get used as a cooking cabin. But you can see some of the structure we put in this to make it super strong. This is exactly the same building as our insulated model without the insulation, vapor barrier, and the pine. This building was also opted for insulated floor. It's a good thing to discuss if you ever intend to do any additional work on the building after the fact. It makes sense to insulate the floor first, because getting underneath that plywood once the building's delivered is not going to be a possibility really. So if you want a standard shed but you intend to insulate it yourself, let's insulate that floor for you. So this here is the exact same building we were just in, except this one is completely finished. These are both 10 by 16 Algonquins. Door in the center with a dormer, a couple of big 36 by 48 inch windows on the front, a couple of smaller 24 by 36 inch windows on the back. And folks, if you want one of these buildings in Ontario, you do not need a permit. We also build them big. So this one's a 12 by 24 Algonquin, specifically built with a big 4x4 window on the end and a bunch of other smaller windows strategically placed so that it fits properly on the land that it's about to end up in. Look at the size of this thing. You can do pretty much anything. This is getting into tiny home size. Certainly a lovely cabin. And this one we even added spray foam to. And if you're looking for the ultimate Highland outbuilding, this is our Simcoe model, where we engineer the trussing to allow for a little more headroom inside. This building has been whitewashed, so obviously the finish on the pine is a little different than what we saw before. Lots of room to fit big windows into this guy, including these transom windows. We have space for those when we engineer this trussing system. And we can also put in walls if you want. This has been framed out specifically for a 3-piece bathroom. But we're about to build a building for a couple that wants a knee wall in their building. We can do all kinds of custom touches here at Highland Outbuildings. Any building from an 8x8 standard shed all the way up to a 12-foot by 30-foot custom building like what you see here. We can do porches, we can do all kinds of different window sizes, door sizes, and we'd be more than happy to deliver one of these fully assembled anywhere to you here in Ontario, Canada. As you can see, folks, there's lots of ways to get a building from us. We're happy to discuss your custom option. All you gotta do is give me a call at 705-309-9088. You can email me at mysturdyshed@gmail.com. You can check out our website at highlandoutbuildings.com. Cheers.